It was all quiet in the bus garage, and the city buses were sleeping peacefully. Suddenly, there was a whoosh, a cry, a crash, and a yowl, and a cloud of dust. The buses, all awake by now, turned on their headlights. There, in the middle of the yard, they saw a heap of clothes, a broomstick, and a black and white cat. Meow. Like all cats, he had landed on his feet. "At this rate, Heckerty," said Zanzibar, "9 lives won't be enough." I lay on the ground and groaned. Everything hurt, especially my leg. Somehow, it didn't look right, and it certainly didn't feel very good. Actually, the rest of me didn't feel very good either. I groaned again and again. A blue bus appeared on the scene with 3 of his friends. "Are you all right?" he asked. I looked up. "A talking bus?" I asked back. This was very confusing. "We all talk," said the buses together. "Talking buses," I muttered. My eyes rolled, and I must have fainted. The blue bus, Tayo, was concerned. "We need to get help." "Hannah," Tayo called, "someone needs fixing." Hannah picked up her phone as she walked towards them. She looked at Tayo and his friends. "I know who to call," she said. "Let's get Alice and Frank." "Good idea," said Tayo. As I came round, I heard sirens. Then an ambulance and a fire truck raced up, their lights flashing and their sirens wailing. "What's wrong?" said the ambulance, who I later discovered was Alice. "This person fainted," said Tayo, "and she looks awful." "Indeed," said Alice. "She looks really sick. Look how green she is." I noticed that Zanzibar was grinning. "She's all right," he said. "Her face is always green. Everyone knows she's Heckerty, the green-faced witch." "Okay," said Alice. "But I still think she needs checking." "Yes, of course," said Zanz, laughing. "But this is normal for her." Tayo approached me. I was still on the ground and trying to stand up. "Are you okay?" he asked. "Who are you? Why were you flying? What were you flying on? Why are you here? And why is your face green?" I was annoyed. "I'm fine," I snapped. "I was flying on my broomstick. That's what witches do." Tayo still looked puzzled. So I explained again. "I'm Heckerty. I'm a witch, and I have a cat called Zanzibar. He's over there. Zanzibar's supposed to have 9 lives, but he thinks I'm reducing the number of lives he has left because I crash into things so often." I looked more carefully at Tayo. "You're a talking bus," I said. "How come? Who are you? Why are you blue? And where am I?" By now, Alice was ready to put me in the ambulance. Once my stretcher was loaded on board, Zanzibar hopped in and closed the door. "Let's go with them," Tayo said. "Lani, Gani, Rogi, let's all go together." "Yes," said the other 3 buses. And they all got in line behind Alice and followed her to the hospital. When we arrived, I stood up and tried to walk out of the ambulance. Zanzibar at my side. "No," said Alice. "You have to wait for the doctors to come and look at you." "No," I said stubbornly. "No doctors, no nurses, no hospital. I don't need them." Tayo was not convinced. "Honestly, Heckerty, I think you should." "No," I said again. "No doctors, no hospitals, no, 1,000 times no. Now, where's my broomstick?" "Your what?" asked Tayo. "My broomstick," I said. "The one I flew in on. I couldn't see my broomstick anywhere. What was happening? And without my broomstick, how could I get home?" Tayo looked puzzled. "I don't understand. Don't you need an engine? Fuel? How fast can you go? And what do you sit on? Do you have seats? Why weren't you wearing a seatbelt?" But before I could answer, a tall person in a white coat appeared. She spoke to Hannah, and then I was whisked inside while Tayo and his friends waited patiently outside. The woman had a funny name written on her white coat. It said, "I Fuss a Lot." I wondered if that was her name or how she behaved. Nurse Fuss a Lot stuck an instrument in my ear, waited for a beeping sound, and looked at the result. She looked again, and then looked a third time, and then she screamed. A small, round doctor appeared.
"Nurse Irene,"
he commanded.
"Stop that noise, whatever is the matter."
Nurse Irene, so that's what the I stood for, stared at me. Then she said, "It's her temperature. Doctor, it says here." And she looked at the instrument. "But her temperature is 409.
"That's ridiculous,"
said the doctor.
"There must be a mistake. Give it to me."
No, I said. "It's absolutely normal. Everybody knows that a witch's temperature is the same as her age."
"Which?"
exclaimed the doctor. Which witch is that?" "Me," I said. "I'm Heckerty. I'm 409 years old, so my temperature is normal at 409. And my face is green because I made a mistake with a spell many years ago. It's not because I'm ill."
"I'm confused,"
said the small round doctor.
"So why are you here?"
he asked. "Because I crash-landed in the bus garage," I said. And before he could ask any more questions, I added quickly, "And my leg hurts." The doctor sent me for an X-ray, and soon he had a big black X-ray picture in his hand. The bone in my leg was clearly broken.
"Do a witch's bones heal quickly?"
asked the doctor.
"We've never had a witch here, so I don't know."
"If I use the right spell, it should mend in a day or two," I told him. "Maybe faster if I know what to fix."
"1 day? That's amazing,"
he said.
"For people, it can take 2 months or more. So I'll set the leg and bandage it so it heals properly. That way, you can make your spell, and you should be as good as new tomorrow."
I hoped he was right. I hobbled out of the hospital, my leg in a big bandage, and using 2 sticks, one under each arm, to help me walk. This was not going to be easy, and I certainly couldn't fly upside down on my broomstick like this. What was I going to do until then? The buses saw me and flashed their headlights and honked their horns. Tayo came over to me at once. So, what's the news? He asked. Did they fix you?
Can you go home?
No, I said sadly. I have to spend a day or so here till I'm well again, and I don't know where to go or what to do. I don't even know where I am.
Oh, that's easy,
said Tayo.
You're in Seoul.
I thought that was a fish, said Zanzibar, licking his lips. He was very hungry, and Seoul sounded good to him.
It is,
laughed Tayo.
But our city is Seoul, and you're in South Korea.
That's a long way from Spellbound, I thought. But at least I now knew where I was.
And we have an idea where you can stay, with us at the bus garage. Hannah will make up a bed for you, and meanwhile, we'll ride around and show you our home,
said Tayo. I started to cheer up. I was feeling much better until I realized I hadn't eaten in hours. Is there any place for dinner? I asked. I'm really hungry, and so is Zanz.
The buses all laughed. We don't eat food, of course, but you do, Lanny said. Let's find you something good.
With that, the buses took over. Zanz and I had no idea that we'd end up in such good hands. Well, really, on such good wheels.
You have to try something typically Korean,
said Hannah, who came along for the ride.
We have some wonderful sizzling and spicy foods. You must try bulgogi, bibimbap, japchae, and kimchi.
They sound like magic words for spells, I laughed. I'm so hungry. Zanzibar is too. And do you also eat fish?
Oh, yes, said Hannah.
And off we went, with me sitting comfortably in the bus, my leg propped up on a seat, gazing at the beautiful buildings in Seoul as we drove by.
Tayo took us to a small restaurant near the Cheonggyecheon,
where Hannah ordered all the things she told us about. My favorite was bibimbap with sticky black rice, with lots of spicy kimchi. Zanzibar had seafood japchae and purred happily. Tayo was waiting for us outside, and as we got on, he suddenly exclaimed,
I have a brilliant idea. How's your leg?
I checked. Much better, I said. No more sticks. I can walk on it now.
Great!
Tayo was very pleased.
We're going to show you something very special, but you do need to be able to walk a little bit.
I'm a witch, I told him. I can magic myself walking. Tayo and Hannah were talking quietly, and she was nodding and smiling. Lanny, Ganny, and Boggy were getting more and more excited as they listened.
You are so lucky that you crashed here when you did, Tayo said. The Seoul Lantern Festival is on, and it's on my route. Let me take you there, and later I can pick you up on my way back to the bus garage. You will have a marvelous time.
That sounded wonderful. And a few minutes later, Hannah, Zanzibar, and I were standing in the Cheonggyecheon Plaza, looking at the beautiful lanterns stretching along the stream. It was magical. We walked along by the water and saw lots and lots of lanterns, beautifully painted, huge and colourful, and lit from inside. Just spectacular. I wondered what it looked like from the air, and I made a mental note to check when I flew home. We looked at the lanterns. Some were of historical Koreans, and some were characters in games and movies. All were beautiful. All too soon, it was time to meet Tayo and go back to the bus garage. By the time we got back, I was very tired. It had been a strange and unusual day. Crash landing in South Korea, talking buses, the hospital, the delicious meal, and the wonderful lanterns. But now it was time to sleep. Hannah had prepared a bed for me on 2 of Tayo's seats. It was very comfortable with a mattress and blanket, and I stretched out ready to sleep. Zanzibar hopped onto the seats next to me, curled up, and went straight to sleep. "Good night, Tayo," I called. "Thank you for taking such good care of us. You are also very kind." "That's our pleasure," replied Tayo. "It's not every day that a green-faced witch crashes into our garage." We both laughed. I watched as the buses turned off their headlights for the night. "Good night, Tayo. Good night, Gani. Good night, Lani," called Rogi. "Good night, everyone," said Tayo. "Good night, Tayo," I said. "Sleep well." "You too, Heckerty," said Tayo. And he turned off his headlights, and we all went to sleep. Love from Heckerty. Now visit Tayo and his friends.